Didn't see you there, just a quick Thomas Edward video, just a bit of something I knew about, but I didn't know it was actually true. So let me explain to you who I am today before I show you what's hiding behind me. So today I'm in Tebay. To a lot of you, Tebay is a name on a map, normally saying Tebay Services, because it's right in the heart of the M6, the northern part of the M6. But to the people who've got in the past, Tebay was a big hub, a big railway hub, a big railway junction, I should say, because as today we know it was West Coast Main Line, but back in when Tebay had its own station, it was the London and North Western Railway, and then also it had a line going from it, what was the North Eastern Railway, what would go up to the Stainmore and across to Darlington. So I'm stood on ground where there was lots of activity from all directions, steam engines, diesels, because Tebay had a station what was built in 1846 and lasted all the way up to 1968, so the last year of steam. So it had a big industry there, freight and passenger, but now it's just a line that goes through Tebay now, and no one knows any difference other than the part that if you look closely, Tebay has a big row of houses, what are old railway houses, and that's the only sort of part what sort of was left of the industry what was there. Now the newer generation will just say, oh, it's Tebay, it's a village on the M6. It's a village where the River LUNE, what comes from Lancaster, what goes out to sea at Lancaster, comes all the way up to Tebay, and then it veers right and goes up to you can just follow it on the map and then it disappears at beginning on LUNE, I think it's called. LUNE because of River LUNE, but also it's in the valley of the LUNE, because Tebay is in the valley of the LUNE as well. So it's that, but that's another video. We'll maybe I'll do a River LUNE, the source of the River LUNE on another video. So comment below if you want to see that. The camera, I found, not far down the road from me, a Class 20 and is it a 9F? Yeah, a 9F, but just the front part of a 9F, no tender, and a box van. There's even a roof off something here, what looks like it's come off a DRS. It's got blue on it still. And you can see the blue and the orange line, what they always have on British Rail stuff. I've just come down to the back down here, down this path. We get a better look at what we're looking at. So the 9F is 92219. Now, what an interesting life 92219 has. It was built in January 1960 and spent all its working life around Cardiff, and then it was withdrawn in August 65. So it had 5 working years on the main line, and then for the rest of its life, it's never been steamed up, run on preserved line, or even run on the main line again. It's just been sort of languishing about in different states of repair. It's not really done anything. I never knew about it till... The thing is, no, I shouldn't really say that actually, because I've seen it, but I've never really paid any attention to it, because it's always been in a state every time I've seen it. So when it got withdrawn, it went to the iconic Barry scrapyard, where a lot of end of era steam went to. It was a big yard where it was a big scrap merchant. I think it was Woodham and Brothers, but it was everyone knows it, Barry Scrapyard. And all my family, my uncles used to go as kids and go and look at all these big sort of like rustic machines, but relics of the old industry, just sitting around. And the guy had the scrapyard, didn't want to cut up. He cut up a couple, but he didn't like to cut them up. He wanted to save them. And eventually a lot of them all got sold off to people who had the cash to save them, and societies and so on. So it went to Barry's, and it remained there to 1985. So what's that, 25 years it lasted there? A long time. And it was dragged out, and it went to Peak Forest Society at Buxton. And Peak Forest Buxton then was right next to the Buxton station where the old diesel shed was, and it was in a car park there on a bit of line. And then I think it stayed there for many years, and then it moved to Midland Railway Centre, and then where it was stored, and then eventually it was moved up to Kirby Stephen East, where there's the old station. And what's interesting is the Kirby Stephen East station is on the line what goes to Tebay, what I was just talking about early on, the North Eastern Railway. So it was there for many years, and I think that's where I seen it last. That's the last time I saw it, because I go up and see the classic road run. They have Kirby Stephen classic buses and trucks and cars. So I think that's the last time I saw it. And then it moved with some other rolling stock up to Wensleydale. And there again, I think I did see it at Wensleydale, because I've been up to Dieselgate. So I've seen it and never really paid any attention to it. And then, very recently, December 2020, the guy who owned it sort of had a bit of a disagreement with Wensleydale, as you do. Like a lot of railway people do, they always got a disagreement with something or other. There's always one guy who says, oh, we can't do that. And they moved it, and he's moved it to his site in Tebay, where over the years, it looks like he's always had something in there. When you go past the motorway, you can always see a coach or a wagon. Or he had a bit of I think he had like an electric multiple unit in there a few years ago. So there's always stuff in there. So he's moved it there, and apparently it's waiting to have a boiler done, and it's managed to have boiler work done. What's going to be done at Loughborough. It's also an engine what's the second youngest in its class, and the Evening Star being the youngest. That was the last sort of built engine for British Rail, and so this is just before it. So that's why it only lasted for 5 years. So it's a really interesting engine. I'd love to one day film it when it's fired, and we can have a ride behind it. That'll be the day. But for now, it's just listening to the sound of the motorway and the sound of the Pendolinos going past and the West Coast Main Line and the cars. But it's a bit of a find, that is. Just sat on a couple bit of rails on some concrete sleepers, and a box van, kind of box van you'd have bananas in, what would come from Liverpool docks. That's the kind of box van you get. The nose end of the 20 here. I wonder what number that is. Apparently they used to have, at Buxton, they used to have, get 3 20s together before the Class 60 arrived in 1990. So to get 3 Class 20s together and call it the Class 60, because 3 20s is 60 in the number. So they used to do that. Now, a Class 20 is 1,000 horsepower. So that's 3,000 horsepower, that is. So that was a bit of useless information from Thomas Edward there about a Class 20. I don't really know a lot about them, but I know enough. And I know DRS used to use quite a lot of them. There's a guy down at Butterley has a shed full of them. And I remember going in there and he was doing a big cab up on them, and they were all rusty. So yeah, they still work up main line, quite a lot still work up main line. DRS used to use them quite a lot, but they don't now. I think since the 68s have come, they try and retire quite a lot of the stock, but I think the 20s went quite a long time ago for them. So yeah, It's pretty good, that, isn't it? It just looks like it's all on primer at the moment. It hasn't got paint on, so I couldn't even say it's BR green because it just looks like primer. Maybe we'll keep looking at this when we come past and see if a tender arrives or any more stock, rolling stock arrives. All best go. Make sure to give us a like and give us a subscribe and comment below like you always do, and I'll keep the chat going below of stuff you know and what you've learnt. And remember to click that big bell. Ding! What, not afraid?